In the heart of Washington, D.C., where the shadows of power loom larger than the monuments themselves, a routine traffic stop explodes into a national nightmare. Local police officers draw their weapons on none other than the FBI director himself, igniting a firestorm that exposes corruption at the highest levels. If you're in the USA or UK craving edge-of-your-seat thrillers that rip open the veil of government secrets, hit that subscribe button now. Don't miss out on stories like this that could be tomorrow's headlines, delivered straight to your feed with unfiltered intensity. The sun was dipping low over the Potomac River, casting long shadows across the bustling streets of Arlington, Virginia, just a stone's throw from the nation's capital. FBI Director Elias Hawthorne gripped the steering wheel of his unmarked black SUV, his mind racing through the classified briefing he'd just left at the Pentagon. At 52, Hawthorne was a man forged in the fires of counterterrorism ops and political intrigue, his sharp blue eyes missing nothing, his salt and pepper hair a testament to years of sleepless nights chasing shadows. He was en route to a clandestine meeting with a whistleblower who claimed to have evidence of a deep state conspiracy involving rigged elections and foreign influence peddling. Little did he know, this ordinary drive would thrust him into the center of a maelstrom that would test the very foundations of American justice. As he merged onto the George Washington Memorial Parkway, his phone buzzed with an encrypted message. "They're on to you. Abort!" But it was too late. Blue lights flashed in his rearview mirror, and a pair of Arlington County police cruisers screamed up behind him, sirens wailing like banshees in the twilight. Hawthorne pulled over calmly, his training kicking in, hands visible, engine off, no sudden moves. He wasn't worried. After all, he was the FBI director, the top law enforcement official in the land. What could go wrong? Officer Marcus Riley, a burly veteran with 15 years on the force and a chip on his shoulder from too many overlooked promotions, approached the SUV with his hand resting on his holstered Glock. His partner, rookie officer Lena Vasquez, flanked the passenger side, her nerves taut like a bowstring. Riley had received an anonymous tip via dispatch. The vehicle matched one involved in a hit-and-run, and the driver was armed and dangerous. "Step out of the vehicle, sir!" Riley barked, his voice cutting through the hum of passing traffic. Hawthorne complied slowly, badge in hand, but as he reached for it, Riley's eyes widened, misinterpreting the motion. "Gun!" Riley shouted, drawing his weapon in a flash. Vasquez followed suit, her pistol trained on Hawthorne's chest. Time froze. The director stood there, hands raised, his mind calculating escape routes, diplomatic exits. "I'm FBI Director Elias Hawthorne," he said evenly, his voice steady despite the adrenaline surge. "This is a mistake." But Riley wasn't buying it. The tip had been too specific, too urgent. "On the ground! Now!" The officers' guns were pointed squarely at him, fingers hovering near triggers. Passers-by slowed, phones out, capturing the surreal scene. America's top cop at gunpoint by local badges. 5 minutes. That's all it took for the world to shift. In those agonizing 300 seconds, Hawthorne's thoughts raced back through his career, from busting mafia rings in New York to dismantling terror cells post-9/11. He recalled the faces of agents lost in the line of duty, the politicians who tried to bury scandals under red tape. Was this payback? A setup? The whistleblower's warning echoed in his ears. Meanwhile, Riley radioed for backup, his voice laced with tension. Vasquez scanned the SUV, spotting what looked like a concealed weapon under the seat, a standard-issue FBI sidearm. "He's armed," she confirmed, her heart pounding. Hawthorne tried to de-escalate. "Call my office. Verify my identity." But the officers, trained to prioritize safety, held firm. News helicopters were already circling overhead, drawn by the spectacle. Social media exploded. Hashtag FBI director held at gunpoint trending within moments. In the White House Situation Room, alarms blared as the president's chief of staff was briefed. "What the hell is going on?" the president demanded, slamming his fist on the table. As the standoff dragged on, twists began to unravel like threads from a frayed rope. Unbeknownst to the officers, the anonymous tip had come from a burner phone traced later to a shadowy operative within the Department of Justice itself, a rogue element tied to a cabal of corrupt officials who'd been skimming funds from black ops budgets. This group, dubbed the Syndicate, in hushed whispers among insiders, included high-ranking DOJ lawyers, disgruntled CIA analysts, and even a few congressional aides. Their goal? To discredit Hawthorne, who was closing in on their embezzlement scheme that funneled millions to offshore accounts for personal gain. The hit-and-run story was fabricated, the vehicle description doctored. But as Riley and Vasquez stood there, guns drawn, they were unwitting pawns in a larger game. Hawthorne, sensing the setup, subtly activated a panic button on his watch, alerting FBI HQ. Agents scrambled, choppers launched, but traffic snarled the response. Minute 1, Hawthorne's mind flashed to his family, his wife, Sarah, a former prosecutor turned homemaker, and their 2 daughters in college. What if this ended badly? A stray bullet, a miscommunication? He couldn't let that happen. "Officers, please," he urged. "Check my ID. It's in my wallet." Riley hesitated, sweat beading on his forehead. He'd seen enough body cam footage of split-second decisions gone wrong. Vasquez, younger and idealistic, whispered, "Marcus, he looks familiar. Isn't that?" But Riley shushed her. The tip had mentioned a high-value target impersonating a federal official, classic syndicate misdirection. Minute 2, sirens grew louder as more units arrived. Captain Jamal Torres, Riley's superior, pulled up in an unmarked car, his face grim. Torres had his own secrets, a gambling debt owed to a syndicate enforcer who promised forgiveness if he ensured the arrest went smoothly. "Cuff him," Torres ordered, stepping out. Hawthorne's eyes narrowed. Torres? He recognized the name from a recent audit of local federal collaborations. Corruption? Here? The director's instincts screamed trap. As Riley moved in with zip ties, Hawthorne resisted verbally. "This is unlawful detention of a federal officer. Stand down." Guns remained pointed, tension electric. Minute 3. The media frenzy intensified. CNN broke the story live. Breaking: FBI Director Elias Hawthorne in standoff with local police. Guns drawn. Details emerging. In London, BBC anchors speculated on transatlantic implications. Could this strain US-UK intelligence sharing? Viewers in New York and Manchester glued to screens, hearts racing. Back at the scene, a civilian witness, tech entrepreneur Mia Chen, filmed from her Tesla, her video going viral. Chen, unbeknownst to all, was the whistleblower Hawthorne was meeting. She'd sent the warning text, but now she was blocks away, horrified. The syndicate had hacked her location services, feeding it to the tip line. Minute 4. FBI SWAT teams converged, screeching to a halt. Special agent in charge, Riley Kane, Hawthorne's right-hand man, leaped out, badge flashing. "Lower your weapons!" "That's the director!" Kane bellowed, his team forming a perimeter. Riley and Vasquez exchanged glances, confusion, doubt creeping in. Torres, panicking, doubled down. "He's a suspect. Stand your ground." The air crackled with potential violence, 2 law enforcement worlds colliding. Hawthorne, hands still raised, spotted a syndicate mole in the crowd, a former agent he'd fired for ethics violations, now smirking from afar. Minute 5. Justice responded swiftly, but not in the way anyone expected. From the skies, a presidential Black Hawk descended, Secret Service agents rappelling down. The president, overriding protocols, had ordered immediate intervention. "Arrest those officers!" came the command via radio. Riley and Vasquez lowered their guns, stunned, as federal cuffs clicked on their wrists. Torres bolted, but Kane tackled him. Hawthorne exhaled, lowering his hands. But the twist deepened. As agents searched Torres' car, they found planted evidence, a dossier implicating Hawthorne in treason. Forged, of course, by the syndicate. The director's relief turned to resolve. This was war. In the aftermath, the nation held its breath. Hawthorne, unscathed but seething, addressed the press from FBI HQ that night. "This was no accident. It's a symptom of deeper rot." Investigations launched, peeling back layers of deception. Riley and Vasquez, cleared of malice but suspended for protocol breaches, became reluctant heroes in some circles, villains in others. Miachin came forward, her evidence a bombshell, encrypted files showing syndicate members laundering money through shell companies linked to foreign adversaries, Russia, China, even rogue elements in allied nations like the UK. As days turned to weeks, twists multiplied. Hawthorne's probe revealed the syndicate wasn't just about money, it was a power grab. Led by Deputy Attorney General Victor Lang, a silver-tongued lawyer with presidential ambitions, the group aimed to install puppets in key positions, manipulating justice for personal empire building. Lang had orchestrated the tip, using hacked dispatch systems. But Lang had a secret vulnerability, an affair with a British MI6 agent, Eliza Thorne, who was double-dipping, spying for the syndicate while feeding intel back to London. Thorne, elegant and ruthless, had seduced Lang in a Geneva hotel, extracting confessions pillow talk style. Hawthorne, piecing it together, flew to London undercover, meeting Thorne in a foggy Thameside pub. "Why?" he demanded, over pints of ale. Thorne, her green eyes cold, confessed. "Power corrupts, Director. And absolute power? It's intoxicating." But she flipped, offering evidence in exchange for immunity, recordings of Lang plotting assassinations of rivals, including a failed hit on Hawthorne himself during the standoff. Back in D.C., arrests rolled in. Lang was cornered in his Georgetown mansion, swept breaching doors as he shredded documents. "You'll never take me alive," he snarled, but surrendered meekly. Trials ensued, televised spectacles riveting audiences from Boston to Birmingham. Twists emerged. Riley, the officer who'd drawn first, was Lang's distant cousin, coerced via family threats. Vasquez, the rookie, turned out to be an undercover FBI plant, inserted months earlier to monitor local corruption, Hawthorne's ace in the hole. Yet deeper shadows lurked. The syndicate had tentacles in the judiciary. Judge Harlan Voss, presiding over Lang's trial, was bought off, planning to dismiss charges on technicalities. Hawthorne uncovered this via wiretaps, leading to Voss' dramatic courtroom arrest mid-hearing. Gasps echoed as marshals hauled the judge away. Justice, swift and unrelenting, claimed another. Months later, Hawthorne reflected in his office, the Potomac glittering outside. The standoff had changed everything, exposing vulnerabilities, forging unlikely alliances. Riley, redeemed, joined the FBI. Vasquez rose through ranks. Chin's tech firm boomed with government contracts. Thorne vanished into witness protection, her MI6 ties severed. But the final twist? As Hawthorne signed off on the case closure, his phone buzzed, a new tip. The syndicate was just the tip. The real puppet master is in the Oval. The president? Or a decoy? Hawthorne smiled grimly. The game continued. The scandal rippled across the Atlantic. In the UK, Parliament debated intelligence reforms, Thorne's defection sparking inquiries into MI6 lapses. Prime Minister Eleanor Hayes addressed the House. We stand with our American allies against such threats. Tabloids screamed headlines. Yankee gun drama rocks Whitehall. Audiences in Manchester pubs and New York diners dissected every detail. Theories abound. Hawthorne's memoir, 5 Minutes to Justice, became a bestseller, optioned for Hollywood. But he knew the truth. Justice wasn't swift. It was a marathon, fraught with twists. In quiet moments, he wondered if the standoff was divine intervention or sheer luck. Either way, it reminded him, and the world, that no one, not even the mighty, is above the law. Years passed, but the echoes lingered. Riley mentored young officers, preaching caution. Vasquez led anti-corruption task forces. Lang rotted in federal prison, his ambitions dust. And Hawthorne? He retired to a quiet farm in Virginia, but whispers said he consulted on black ops, ever vigilant. The story of that fateful 5 minutes became legend, a cautionary tale of power, betrayal, and redemption. In boardrooms and barrooms from sea to shining sea, and across the pond, people raised glasses to justice swift and sure. But in the shadows, new syndicates brewed, waiting for their moment. The cycle eternal. Expanding on the narrative, let's delve deeper into the characters' backstories and the intricate web of deceit. Elias Hawthorne wasn't always the stoic director. Born in a small Ohio town, he lost his father to a mob hit at age 12, fueling his crusade against crime. Joining the FBI after law school, he rose through ranks, busting cartels in Miami, where he met Sarah, then a fierce ADA prosecuting drug lords. Their romance blossomed amid stakeouts and courtrooms, marrying in a simple ceremony overshadowed by threats from vengeful kingpins. Marcus Riley's path was rockier. A Boston native, he joined the force to escape poverty, but years of night shifts and domestic calls hardened him. His wife left him for a banker, taking the kids, leaving Riley bitter and susceptible to syndicate manipulation. The tip call came during a low point, promising a big buzz to revive his career. Lena Vasquez, fresh from the academy, immigrated from Mexico as a child, dreaming of justice after her brother's gang-related death. Her undercover role was Hawthorne's brainchild, planted after intel suggested local leaks. Mia Chin, the whistleblower, was a Silicon Valley dropout who hacked into syndicate servers for fun, uncovering the plot. Her Tesla video? Not accidental. She'd tailed Hawthorne for protection. Victor Lang's villainy rooted in ambition. A Harvard grad, he clerked for Supreme Court justices before DOJ ascent. The affair with Thorne began at a NATO summit, her seduction a calculated MI6 op gone rogue. Eliza Thorne, orphaned in a Belfast bombing, joined MI6 for revenge against terrorists. But greed corrupted her, leading to syndicate ties. Her flip to Hawthorne was pragmatic, survival over loyalty. Captain Torres' gambling woes stemmed from Vegas binges, debts to mobsters funneled through syndicate loans. His arrest broke him, confessing everything in interrogation. Judge Voss, a Nixon-era appointee, took bribes to fund his lavish lifestyle, yacht parties with influencers half his age. The presidential twist? It was the chief of staff, Harlan Crow, pulling strings, a former syndicate member who'd infiltrated the White House. Hawthorne's investigation led to Crow's dramatic resignation, fleeing to non-extradition havens.